This week in my hometown of St. John got a lot of its spring rain all at once, a lot of accumulation, and it made me think that some of you might be curious what a real estate appraiser thinks of flood zones. I'm Adam Dickinson. I'm a real estate appraiser in St. John, New Brunswick, and I just wanted to touch briefly on the topics of how flood zones and water retention can impact commercial property value or investment property value. Now, one thing that you have to think about if you're dealing with land that is undeveloped and your highest and best use is developing the land in some way is, would any flood restrictions change the way a property can be developed? For some low-lying properties, there could be requirements where if you're adding fill, you need to have compensation of an equivalent amount of fill being removed from another place in the flood area. So if a property is in a flood zone, that can change the costs of developing the land. Another thing to think about for developing commercial property is whether or not there would need to be any special considerations if it's in a flood zone for flood retention, water retention related to parking or runoff. If you're dealing with an existing property, things that you would have to think about when dealing with flood zones are, do people buy properties of this type in a flood zone? In St. John, you've got a lot of retail and a lot of commercial properties that are in areas that are prone to flooding. Those buildings still tend to sell, so if a property can sell, it can still be insured, still be mortgaged. If those things are the case, then perhaps the impact on property value of being in a flood zone isn't that great. You really need to read the market, see what people who buy and sell properties in the market think about properties in flood zones. Those are a few of my thoughts about how the spring rain and perhaps rising water levels could impact property values, or things to think about in that regard. If you have any specific questions about real estate appraisal, perhaps how it relates to flooding, you can contact me through Twitter. AGD_SJ is my Twitter handle, or you can keep coming back and checking out these videos. Thank you very much.